Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our second coding lesson today. So today we're going to be using spreadsheets to make ourselves like a times table calculator. So I don't have to do the times tables myself, but we're going to make it as more of a game so that you could challenge people to complete your game or beat you at your times table game. So I'm going to start by sharing the screen so you can see what we're doing. So the first thing to do is to log into Purple Mash. Okay, so to find our spreadsheets, we come to Tools, and then we come across to the right here to Calculate, and we click on that, and it will say Launch App. All right, now here, the first thing that pops up are these possible different files. You can actually just go ahead and close that because we're not using that today. So in front of us, we have our spreadsheet. Okay, now as a quick reminder, we have our columns that go up and down, and we have our rows that go across, and where those intersect make an individual cell. Okay, so the first thing to do to make our lives a bit easier is to come up to the top here and press this button where you've got some columns and rows, and there's a blue line on the top. So press on that, and that will actually number and letter your rows and your columns, as well as show you the function wizard. Okay, so how do we make our game? So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do add some different tools to create a calculator. All right, so over on the right here, first thing I'm going to do is actually put my cell. I'm going to click on A1, the A1 cell. Okay, coming over to the tools on the right, I have a number pad here. Underneath, I've got some maths tools, plus, minus, times, divide, and so on. And if I click on this and drag it down, or I scroll down using 2 fingers, I can actually see some extra tools. So I could color, for example, I could color my square, pick a color, up to me. I'm actually just going to get rid of that, go back to white. I could type into it, so just typing letters. I'm not going to. Last week, we looked at formatting the cell with decimals, pounds, percentages, or fractions. I could insert an image into that. I could do some designs in there, so using arrow commands. We're not going to go into that. Or if I come to the last one, which is what we'll be working on today, I have some control buttons, and we're going to be using our control buttons today. So come across to the right and click on the one with the up, down arrow. So the first thing to making my times table game is I'm going to click on A1, and then I'm going to click on the tool. So let me just quickly go through the tools that we're going to be using. We have an up-down counter, a clock timer, it counts how many variables are. I'll explain that more in detail when we come to it. We have a random dice roll. We have a random number generator. I could lock my cell. I could move a cell. I could add a cell. I've got down here, this one can be used, it's another way of adding. We'll talk about it more when we come to it. This one shows whether a number is more or less, so it would be greater than, less than, or equals to, or I could speak into one of the cells. Now, we're not going to be using them all today. So the first one I'm going to click on is a number generator. So I click on that and it pops up in the cell. So as you can see, that number here has popped up. Now, when I click on it, it actually changes the number. It randomly puts a new number in it, 6, 3. You can click on it so many times, it's just going to randomly pop a number up in there between the numbers 0 and 9. Okay, so to set myself up, I'm just going to put in 1 in B1, oh sorry, A2, sorry, 1 in A3. All right, so I'm just going to do a few. Okay, in my next cell, this is where I'm going to show the multiply. So I'm going to do 8 times. So I'm going to do, come across to the right here, and I'm going to press on multiply. So it's going to do 8 times something. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to not choose myself. I don't want to decide, oh, my 3 times tables. I'm actually going to randomly decide the times table. So coming across to the right now, I want to move this all the way across. So I'm going to actually zoom out. I want more rows and columns than I can see. This only goes up to H. So I'm going to come to the bottom right here, and I'm going to press the plus button. Oh, and it's added a column I, and I'm going to press it again, and I'm going to do it all the way until I get up to O. we want to have all the way up to column O, please. So if you can go and add your columns in up to column O. Coming across to column M, and we're going to go down to M3, 1, 2, 3. So that would be this one, M3. And I can check if I'm in the right box. It'll appear on the right here, oh, sorry, on the top left here, M3. And in that, I'm going to type times tables. Times tables. Okay, and in my times tables, I'm going to leave N3 blank for now. And in O, that's where the timetable is going to appear. So clicking on N3, now I'm going to add, coming over to my controls, the tool that counts up or down, and it appears just there. So adding that in. So if I now type a times table, like 4, into column O, when I press the up button in column N and row 3, N3, up, my times tables go up. When I press down, they go down. Okay, wonderful. So what I'm going to do, you can pause the video now, go away and make sure you followed all those steps. All right, fantastic. So I want to times whatever is in A1 by whatever is in O3. All right, so we're going to type in a code. We're going to make a calculation here. So first what I do is I click on C1, and up in my function wizard here, I'm going to type in the calculation, the control that I want it to do, what I want the computer to do. So how I type this in, and you're going to have to follow this carefully, is I press equals. So cell C1 is going to equal whatever I tell it. So now I want to tell it which cell do I want it to be the same as. I want it to be the same as O3. So I'm going to put equals, capital letter O, and the number 3. And you can see over here, it's highlighted in green, cell O3. So the computer now knows that C1 will be equal to O3. So when I press enter, let's see, do they match? C1 is 4 and O1 is 4. Let's see what happens when I increase O3. It's going to go up to 5. Oh, excellent. C1 has also gone up to 5. If I go up a few more, they move in synchronization. I've matched the cells by creating a command in my function wizard. So your turn now. What I want you to do is go away and I want you to write in the formula equals O3 into the C1 box. Make sure those cells match. Once you've done that, come back and press play. Fantastic. So we've made a rule for now. So what we're going to do is I want A2 and A3 to match what's in A1. So I'm going to click on B1 and I'm going to use the same trick we learned last week where I hover over it till I see the double-headed arrow and drag it down. So I'm going to drag, so now it all says times in that one. Okay, now that we've done that, it's going to be a little bit different for this cell. So what I'm going to do, I can't drag it down. Watch, if I drag it down, it doesn't match the number because it's moved O3, which would be number 4, down to O4, and that is a 0. So it doesn't work. So what we do is we click on C1 and we come up to the bar, up to the function wizard bar here, and we highlight the text. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to learn a shortcut to copying and pasting. So I could use the right side of the mouse pad and click and go down to where it says copy. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press down the control button. It says CTRL on it, control. I'm going to hold that down and then I'm going to click on the letter C, control copy. Now that has copied all what I've highlighted. It's copied the equal sign, the 0 and the 3. So I'm just going to do that one more time. What I do is I click, I can use my mouse pad, click and highlight. And then I need to hold down the control button, the one that says CTRL. It's on your bottom left of your keypad. Hold that down and press the letter C just once. Copy and then let go. And now we're going to paste it. So now I want to click down onto the cell that I want to copy that information into, C2, come up to my function wizard, and now I'm going to hold down the control button again, and I'm going to press the letter V. V, like number 5 in Roman numerals, control V. And it pastes that same information, equals 0, 3. And I'm going to press enter, and it does it. All right, let me show that one more time. Now I'm going to come down to C3, click on the cell, come up to my function wizard box, and I'm going to do click in there, and I'm going to hold down control and press the letter V. There we go. It should paste equals 03, and I press enter, and it does exactly what I want it to. It connects this cell over to this cell here. Your turn now. So I want you to pause the video, and I want you to go away, and I want you to copy and paste that information. You could just type it in over and over again, but when we start doing this up to like 20 times, it's faster this way. So highlight the text and copy it, and then paste it into the cell below. Once you've done that, come back and press play. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get the answer. So each of my rows gives me a times table, 8 times 4. The next row gives me 5 times 4, and the next row gives me 0 times 4. So I want the computer to calculate that for me. I don't want to have to work it out. All right, so what I'm going to do in my D cell is I'm going to come into my D column, I should say. I'm going to come to the top one, and I'm going to come over to the right here, and I'm going to put the equal sign, and it calculates it for me. 2 times 4 equals 8. What that equal sign is doing is calculating anything to the left of it, 2 times 4. So if I then put the equal sign, come down to the next row, put the equal sign, it should calculate it for me. 5 times 4 is 20. And doing it to the last one, or I can click on this and drag it down. It says 0. So now when I press on my random number generator, number 2, it's going to change to a different number, and the answer is going to change over in column E1. Here we go. So ready? If I press on the 2, 1 times 4 is 4. 5 times 4 is 20. 8 times 4 is 32. It does it for me. Or I could come over to my times table generator over here, and I could change the times table. Maybe I want to do the 6 times tables. So I'm going to come and I'm going to click up to the 6s, and it works out for me. 8 times 6 is 48. 5 times 6 is 30. 0 times 6 is 0. Your turn now. Go away, pause the video in your D column, add in your equal sign. Fantastic, excellent work. So what we're going to do for the rest of this lesson is we are going to make the rows from 1 to 10 with the same calculation. So to speed up the process, I'm going to come to number A4, and I'm going to put in the random number generator. Then I'm going to drag it all the way down to row number 10. Oh, come on, it's not coming. Drop, and there we go. So I've got, let me just change them so they're all different numbers. Okay, and then in my column B, I'm going to drag down my multiplication all the way down. It's going to copy the same code. And remember, this is different. In column C, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the function calculation, press Control Copy, Control C, and come down to each row at a time. I'm going to click on the cell, click in the function wizard, and press Control V to paste it. Control V, Control, oh, I got to press Enter. Otherwise it doesn't work, it just looks pretty. Enter, come down to the next one, Control V, Enter. Oh, helps if you press Enter. Coming up to this one, Control V, click on your function wizard, press Enter. Number 9. Click up, make sure you've clicked up into the function box, press Enter, otherwise it won't work. And my last box again, fantastic. And then last but not least, I'm going to drag that all the way down with my equal sign, and it's going to calculate that for me. Well done. Your turn now. Go away and make up to row number 10 filled up with times tables calculations. Once you've done that, come back and press play. All right, my lovelies. So we're going to do one more thing, okay, that makes it a bit of a game. before we end our lesson today, and we're going to add a timer because, you know, it's only ever worthwhile seeing how good you are at your times tables if you can see that you're improving and getting faster and faster. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over to cell M1. Can you find cell M1? There it is, M1. Click on it. So which button, which control do you think is going to make a timer for me to count how long it's been? Absolutely right if you said the clock. So I'm going to click on the clock. Now, how the clock works is when it's red, it's not counting. When I click on it, it'll turn green, it'll start counting. But where's it going to count from? I need to set what number. So what I do is I'm going to come over to N1 and I'm going to type in 0. I want it to be counting from 0. So now when I go back to the clock and I click on it, it turns 1 and it starts counting up. And I can see the seconds ticking away there on the right-hand side of it, all right? And to make it stop, all I have to do is click on the clock again, and it pauses and shows me my time. If I want to reset it, I need to click on the number 14 and change it to a 0. All right, now that we've added our timer, that's the end of the lesson. So we're not going to be able to do our game until next lesson once we've been able to, you know, make it a challenge for people, but we have everything in place for next lesson to build on this and be able to go and make a maths game for our friends to play. So the most important step today is actually saving your work so that you can access it next week. So coming over to the top left here, I'm going to go save. I want to do underneath your class. So go to your class name. Miss Boots has obviously only got Nottingham, so I'm going to go to Nottingham, okay? And I'm going to save it as my name, Miss Boots Maths Game. Do not save it as something silly, like a bunch of letters, because then when nobody knows what that work is about, all right? Nobody knows what it is. I'm going to have to open it to check it. If I've named it something appropriate, like Miss Boots Maths Game, I can know what it is before I open it. And it's important that you save it in your class folder so that your friends will be able to play your game once you finish it. All right, so save your work. Once you've done that, please let me know or your teacher know on Seesaw so we can check your work and make sure that you manage to create a times table calculator for yourself. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. I look forward to next week when we're going to be making this into a full game and we'll all be back in the classroom together. Have a lovely day and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.